Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. Now today I'm bringing a new company to my channel. This is Pinkfresh Studios and this is the Cozy Blooms set. It's a relatively new release and I've got the stamp, I have got the coordinating dies, and it's nice because all of the pieces are connected so you don't have to do a whole bunch of different dies. And this packaging is magnetic and so you can store your dies right on that. Tuck them in a sleeve and you're good to go. I've got the coordinating stencil and it is a 6-layer stencil and it stencils both the large and the small stamp. The large one is at the top of the stencil and the smaller stamp is at the bottom of the stencil, and we're just going to get to working on it. And I have sped this up, the basically the stamping and the ink blending and the coloring and everything that I do. I will tell you that I already did a video with this set for the scrapbookpal.com channel, and I used kind of some fall colors for it, and it is beautiful. I'll try to link it up in the box above so you can check it out. And it's just really a beautiful set, and it's very pretty. This one I'm going to go with kind of red and green because I was thinking, well, we're moving into the Christmas season and it might be fun to see what it looks like with kind of a red and green look. So we're going to get this stamped up. I did stamp it, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. I fast forwarded so you wouldn't have to watch me do all that. And then we're going to heat emboss it. So I'm just going to lay some powder on here. And I think I go off camera, heat emboss, die cut, and then we'll come back in. I spent about an hour and 5 minutes on all of this, so I didn't think you probably wanted to sit here for an hour and 5 minutes. So I did edit some of it out, and I sped up quite a bit of it just because ink blending and coloring and everything takes a little bit of time, especially when you've got all these details and stuff. So this is really fun. So like I said, this is the first time I've used Pinkfresh Studio products, and I was super impressed. Really like the fact that the magnetic sheet that the dies come on, you can just store them that way. So I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss this. I thought I cut it out. Evidently I didn't, but we're going to get it all embossed. I just used the clear embossing powder. It's super fine. And this will help me, it helps kind of stay in lines when you color, but we're going to stencil first and then color, so it's really not for that purpose. It's just going to, we'll be able to wipe off any ink that we get on the embossed areas, and it'll just make it show up a little bit more. And you can see I've sped this up severely just because it's going to take a while. So I am bringing in, I'm starting off, I think, with my lumberjack red. Is what I'm using, lumberjack plaid. I use distressed oxides is what I use. Now here you can see the bottom half of the stencil does the smaller stamp. There's a very distinct line in there. It's kind of on an angle that shows you top half and bottom half. And I'm just taking each layer and just adding my color, and I'm still on the lumberjack plaid, and then we'll move to some darker colors and add some interest to our card. So just taking me a minute to get it lined up on there and continuing to color all of the flowers in the red. And now I'm bringing in, I think I've got black soot here that I'm using, and I'm just adding some darkness to these red flowers and just kind of giving it some really deep shadow. I wasn't sure, what I would use to go dark on that lumberjack plaid, so I just decided to go very dark and just use this black soot. And then we've got a little bit of black flowers too that will look kind of cool as well. So these are kind of dark, I guess moody colors is what we've got going on here. And we're just continuing to add it, and you can see it's dark. And we'll get it lined up. Now here I'm bringing in my forest moss for my leaves. And I just thought I needed, not a bright green, kind of a darker green, kind of a muted green. And so I brought in my forest moss. I will bring in some other greens and add a couple lighter colors to the floor, to some of the leaves, just to have some, two tones in our leaves. So I'm just bringing in another. I think this is mowed lawn here, and it probably is a little bit bright. I might have been better off with pine needles, but this is what I used. And I've skipped a couple flowers, so I'm grabbing the stencils and coming back in and filling those in so that we'll have everything blended. And so now I'm going to cut these apart. We're going to go off camera. We're going to die cut them all off. And then we'll come back in with all of our bits and pieces. And I think we're going to take some markers and just add a little bit more interest to the flowers. So I love this. Look at this. This is one die and it gets all those stray ones. Isn't that awesome? You don't have to deal with lining up a whole bunch of dies. So this was another feature of their product that I was very impressed with. Love it. So here we've got all of our pieces, and I'm bringing in my red Copic marker and just kind of flicking around these. These are not the roses. You've got roses, and then you've got, I don't know what these other ones are, but I'm kind of flicking around them, just giving them a little bit more dimension and trying to make them look a little bit more interesting. The roses have got quite a bit of detail on them, and the stencil does add quite a bit of detail to them. So you absolutely do not have to use markers to color these in if you stencil them. And you don't have to have the stencil because you could certainly just color them in if you want. So it's completely up to you, but it's a great set. I'll link all the materials in the description box below so you can check it out. And I find that they have scrapbookpal.com has very reasonable prices, so you might check out their shop. And if you do, hit my link because it is an affiliate link and it does help my channel if you bump my link before you shop. In fact, on anything, my spellbinders, any of those videos, if you bump them before you shop, it is helpful to the content creators when you do that. So I'm just looking at my bits and pieces and trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. I think I do this card very similarly to how I did the card on the other channel. And we're going to use these burgundy and black and just kind of keeping in with the same colors that we used to create our flowers. And I'm bringing in the Perfect Touch arches from Spellbinders, and we're going to just die cut out of each panel, and then we're going to flip-flop them, and we're going to use the insides and the outsides and just make two very similar cards. Now, one thing I wish I had done in looking at it is I wish I had embossed the back panel with a 3D embossing folder or an embossing folder. It certainly would have added a lot more interest to it, but I didn't, and I just kind of kept it pretty simple. And so we're going to die cut. I've got a couple of arches there, and I'm going to use the smaller one for the colored, and then we're going to grab that larger one, and we're going to bring in some vellum, and we'll just cut a couple of vellum arches out as well, and then we'll just layer them up. These are going to be really, really similar. I just wanted to work with this product once more before I put it away. I'd had it laying out, and I kept moving it around and stuff, and I thought, I just need to go ahead and work with it again, and then I can put it up for a little bit and then maybe drag it out again later. But super fun set, and like I said, I'm really impressed with the way they package their materials and the way they handle their dyes. I love it. So here's the look that we're going for, and like I said, it would have been really nice if I had either embossed or maybe stenciled or done some ink splatter or something on the background layer. I think that would have been really nice, but I did not. And so we'll just proceed on here. And we're just going to get this glued up and laid down, and we'll do both of them very, very much the same. And I'll have a couple of cards that I can put in my stash. So my daughter came the other day and grabbed several thank you cards and some birthday cards and stuff like that. So I'm going to have a time to celebrate card and a lots of thanks card when I get finished with this, because those are the sentiments that I'm going to use. And I really like the font that they have on their sentiments as well. I really liked the font and the way that they die cut them out, just real tight. So we're just going to layer this up, and we've just got that little bit of vellum just to kind of soften it, and then we're going to pop it up so that we'll have just a little bit of dimension on there. And then we'll just get our florals all laid down on our panels, and we'll have a couple of very nice floral cards. So I'll get that centered in there. And then we're just going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and build the card base. And then once we get that done, we'll just come in and we'll kind of split our flowers up and arrange them on our cards. I'm excited for the opportunity to work with scrapbookpal.com because of the opportunity to bring in some different products to the channel. You know, I focus a lot on spellbinders because I love spellbinders and I, get a lot of product from them. But I thought it'd be fun every once in a while to have some other product to bring to the channel and work with. Now I do work with other companies as well, that, but I just thought it would be fun to kind of expand into some companies that I haven't worked with before and check out some new stuff and some different companies and see what their products look like. So this is going to be a fun opportunity. So now I'm just going to, the big cluster, you just lay it down on there. But now all these bits and pieces, you can kind of arrange them and create a swag or, a cluster, whatever you want to do, and just kind of position them how you want. So I'm just going to fiddle around with them and try and figure out a placement that I like and kind of fill in this arch, but leaving enough room for our sentiment. And then we'll just get all of our pieces laid down. Now I'm thinking I do save some florals for the inside of the card. For one of the cards, I'll save, whatever I've got and stick it on the inside of the card, and we'll have a little bit of embellishment on the inside. I'm trying to make myself do that because, a lot of times I die cut out more pieces than I need or more things that I need, and I should just go, just automatically put them on the inside of the card to add some extra fun, and, then they don't wind up in the trash after the work of blending or coloring or, die cutting, whatever it is. So I'm just continuing to fiddle with this and trying to decide exactly how I want it. I think I could have gotten 3 cards out of this, quite honestly, if I wanted to, but I just went with the 2. There is enough floral stuff here that you could definitely make a 3rd card. Okay, we've landed on that, and I think we've got all of our pieces. So I'm going to lay the other things aside. We're going to look for our sentiments and get them ready. And I'm going to bring in some black beaded embellishments, and I think these are from Spellbinders. And I'm just going to add them to the card, and on the swag we'll put it kind of on the card panel, and then the big cluster we're going to put them in the centers of the flowers and just make our flowers more dimensional. And we've got 3 on that one, and then we're going to come in and put just 2 on the swag one. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to put it on the florals, and I'm like, no, I'm going to lay it in this open area down here. And so we'll just stick a couple of those down there. Now this is where I'm going to bring in the sentiments, and we're just going to put some white cardstock in there, and we'll just stamp up a couple of them. I stamp up Time to Celebrate and Lots of Thanks. I'm kind of eyeballing it here, trying to just see what is the right scale for this. And so that's what I decided to do. So that's Lots of Thanks. And then I'm going to go with Time to Celebrate. And for these, I don't even heat emboss these. I don't know why I didn't, because I heat embossed the flowers, but I'm just going to stamp them up, and then we'll just die cut them out. Look at the font. I just love it. That Lots of Thanks is super fun, and it cuts all of the middle part out on both of them. And so you've got a real clean sentiment. Oh, I guess I did heat emboss. They didn't feel, particularly shiny, or raised. But I guess I did go ahead and heat emboss them. Well, I'm glad I did, since I did the florals as well. That way they'd be matching. Okay, so now we've got all of our heat embossing done on the sentiments. We've got them die cut out. I've got them kind of positioned on each of the cards, and now we're just going to get them laid down. So I'm going to grab my scissors and my glue, and we'll just get some glue laid down on there. And I'm using my glue press. because I've got the fine nozzle in it. I've been using just the bottle lately for the card bases and then retaining the press for the fine detail. And that has been working a lot better for me because then I have more movability in my panels and I can get them lined up straighter because the big nozzle gives you more glue down and they have more movability and it just works better. So here I'm going to grab one of the floral elements and just tuck it in here on this card. And then I'm going to look at the other one, and I don't think I wind up going with it on the other one. I'm not sure why I decided not to do that, but I didn't. Anyway, so this will finish it off, and you can see we just got 2 floral arch cards. And I've taken a couple pictures for you. I hope you like them. If you do, please be sure and hit that like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. We'd love to have you. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye now.